Hello, I'm Elsie Banks, and we're fortunate enough this afternoon to be out on Rocky Branch in Franklin County, Kentucky, talking with one of the people that I feel is most well-versed on wildflowers in this area, and it's Howard Jones. Howard, welcome.
Well, it's good to be with you again.
Great, great. We want to talk this afternoon, and we thought it would be great fun to try and document some of the wildflowers that are blooming in Franklin County. Now, we should point out the date. This is May 8th, right?
Yes, it is.
So we're a little bit late to get the early blooming flowers.
We won't be getting those. The trees are full of leaves, and we'll get some very late stragglers, so that sort of thing. We're beginning to get the things that bloom on the roadsides and in the sunny areas, rather than the woods plains. Yes.
What influence does the leaves on the trees have on the
Well,
wildflowers?
it's a light.
It's the light.
It's the light,
that
and
stops their
that's right.
development.
That's
they
right.
start making seeds.
Well, that's yes, they will, and of course, not only the light, but it begins to make it more humid and just a more controlled situation, cooler overall. Mm-hmm.
Now, wildflowers, as far as I know, are very sensitive to. You have flowers; they only grow in an ideal climate, right?
Well, they're very specific. Although some, are able to grow more places than others, but some are so specific that it takes, just maybe a certain corner of a cool rock or something like it nearly to have them. But we in Franklin County will have many of the wildflowers that will bloom over the central part of the state. We're in a limestone area, and they're flowers that are very specific to limestone and limestone soil. So that's what we'll see here. If you go to Natural Bridge or eastern Kentucky, you'll see almost an entirely different set of wildflowers. But then we have some plants that adapt quite well, and our flowers, for example, the dandelion, is going to be found. Well, there are all variations of that sort of thing, and some plants can handle this and live in different areas. But we have some, pretty specific to Franklin County. There's one, for example, that's found only in Franklin County, Kentucky.
Tell us about that, in case we don't get a chance to
okay, it's a mustard, and it has no common name as far as I know. It's a cress, Arabis perstillata, and we are considering it, I think, an endangered plant.
But it only grows in.
But it only grows in Franklin
Kentucky.
County. I understand that they may have found a few clumps over in Owen County down the Kentucky River.
They probably packed them and moved them down there.
But at any rate, so that's pretty specific.
How long have you been tracking wildflowers?
Well, ever since my high school teaching days and before. My grandmother, who picked spring greens, taught me to appreciate wildflowers.
I find in reading, and I do a lot of reading of naturalists, I find so many people started out this way.
Well,
following an herb lady or someone picking greens out in the
yeah, well,
okay, let's get right to the nitty-gritty and show the people some of the fantastic displays we have here. Let's start with the deep purple one there on the side.
We're talking about, you mean this
right
one here and right here? Okay, that's dwarf larkspur. It's beginning to be a little dried in this area for this, but it comes in two colors, variations, white or purple. And that's much like the, your garden larkspurs in a way, but not nearly so tall or spread out. This is one that farmers are not particularly fond of because cattle eating this can get what they call the blind staggers.
Yeah, it makes them sick.
So it is a poisonous, sort of a crazy weed in a sense, and they can get sick and I suppose even die from it.
Right. Well, that's probably true. I know there's a warning in one of the agricultural books I've read.
Right. Well, that's.
What's the pretty deep pink?
You mean right here?
Right.
That's fire pink, and it is a true pink, because sometimes called catch fly. It's kind of sticky on there, and I suppose insects can be caught there. But now that's not as bright as some. That's a pink, and right over here you see one that's a deeper colored red.
Right,
that's more of a natural.
Fire engine
and
red.
it's fire and fire colored, so it is a fire pink, and one of the most colorful plants in the woods this time of year.
When we were looking over this hillside, we surprised Howard because he found something that he didn't even know grew here. Let's see, can we get this down here next to the ground, Jim? The little.
Yeah, Jim, let's see. Right here.
Right here.
Let me hold this little yellow oak back so you can get a look at this. This is blue-eyed Mary. It's a member of the figwort family, and unusual looking. Most people haven't seen this one.
I've never seen it.
Around Rocky Branch here, there are some of the biggest beds that I've ever seen. It's a beautiful plant. It looks like a violet, but it isn't. It has 3 petals below and 2 above, which is characteristic of the figworts.
Now that's something we might ought to point out. In identifying plants, you don't look at just the blossoms because they can fool you sometimes.
That's right. Yes, they're soon gone. But there's so many qualities: the leaves, the stems, the flowers, the fruit, all
The anatomy
sorts
of
yes,
the plant,
the
huh?
total anatomy of the plant, yes, I sure.
Okay. Here's
Okay,
something
you're
up
right.
here. Let's
Pull
see. Mr. Spider's built him a web there.
Yes, This is another plant that will be found in a very dry location. Get the mic up.
Oh, okay.
It's
here, can we
yeah,
get it this way?
it's sedum or stone crop. We have, this is the most common white stone crop. We have also pink and yellow occurring in here, and it'll be found in a very, see how this is growing right on the ledge.
Right
And
in
it will
rock.
be so dry in just a little while that you wouldn't dream anything could grow there. But for a while in the spring, stone crop will grow in places like that. So that's another one that we have. Let's see, what are we seeing? I don't know whether we'll see this other places or not, Elsie, but I see a few left here of some of the earlier spring flowers.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, here we have, let's see, here's, yes, let's look a little closer. This one is false rue anemone here. Wrong, Howard, you misidentified. It is rue anemone, actually.
It is rue, okay.
It is rue, not false rue, because it's of the location of the leaves. The false rue has leaves at the base and leaves right under the petals, under the bloom, and it always has 5 or more. The false rue always has only 5.
That's incredible that you can remember that sort of thing.
you have to, and we don't have that many to remember. So that one is an early spring wildflower, which is still on location here. Let's see, now what are some of the other things we were
Let's
seeing?
move on down this way. I think most of what we saw down here is on down this way.
Real nice one here.
Oh, yeah, we got nice big clumps.
Yeah, this is purple Basilia. And
Purple
Basilia. It
Okay.
grows in waste places like this, not in the woods as you can see, out in the sunny locations. And this time of the year, I don't really know how to
Did you
tell
get
you.
that bee down there, Jim? He's visiting the plant right down at the base of the plant.
Yeah, here's
this
a
way.
honeybee. Now,
See?
honeybees are getting scarce. An awful lot of the pollination these days is done by wasps and bumblebees. And
That
you know,
doesn't sound very good.
no, it's a bad sign in my opinion. I think that the sprays are doing in the honeybees, and of course there's some honeybee diseases around too that come in from other places. But I'm not a bee man, but I do know that there are not nearly so many honeybees as there used to be.
They're really essential in the chain.
They
of
certainly are, and as
propagating the
I
species.
say now, you will see bumblebees and little wasps and things doing the pollinating as much or more than honeybees.
I would assume, you know, with all the people that are keeping bees for raising honey, that there would be more of them around. That's distressing. too.
Well, they are in the immediate vicinity
Right.
of those hives, but
A lot of people don't understand that if you don't have the bees, you can't have the flowers.
well,
And
that's exactly the fruit certainly. You'll the plants either. Now let's see. Here's one that, as long as we're close by here, we can look at this one. It's a little yellow plant. We'll see some more. This is roundleaf ragwort. It's the first sunflower of the year. Sunflower family, composites.
Okay.
And,
I'm used to seeing the great big one.
Yes, right. In the spring, they look quite differently. But this is roundleaf ragwort.
Ragwort. What does I read these names in wildflower books, and you know, so many
Well,
people are turned off because
yeah.
what does ragwort mean? Is
Well,
that a family that it belongs
Wart,
to?
no, wart is an old English name for plant, just like that.
Oh,
Liverworts, you know,
Yeah,
plants that look
right.
like livers and that sort of thing, you
Great,
know.
okay.
So wart means, you know, it's just a
Means plant.
just plant, yeah,
Well, see,
right.
when you find out these kind of things, they don't seem so strange. That's wonderful.
Now,
And-
all plants, you know, your definition of a flower is certainly interesting because just about all the plants we have around do have flowers, but they're not decorative necessarily. For example, this one right here, I don't mind pulling this.
cleavers, I know
This
that.
is
It's
cleavers, that's
Okay,
right.
great.
And what happens, it root and the lower stem just dries up so that it can stick on your pants and be carried to another location for its seeds, you see. So it
Now,
just
I
pulls
know that
right
one
loose.
from Yule Gibbons because
Oh, really?
it's supposed to be a good green to eat.
I see. Well, I
And,
didn't know that. I
It's
didn't know
also
about
supposed to
cleavers.
be good for people who are dieting.
Oh, wow.
That's why I was particularly interested in it.
Okay. Well,
Let's see what else
let's
we
see,
have
I
here
had,
on the cliff.
I had appendage water leaf a minute ago.
Yes, it's on down here further, and you might point out the yam up there on
Oh
the
yeah,
hill.
here's
If-
not easy to see in the shade, but here's wild yam right here.
wild yam.
Wild yam. It has little green blossoms, and the leaves. One interesting thing about that, the leaves are in a whirl around the stem. See, there are
Okay,
one,
they all
two,
sit
three,
at the
four,
same
five,
base.
and here's the
Okay.
little green blooms there. They all sit in the same location. There's one yam that doesn't climb like this one. We have both of them here. Lots more of our larkspur, and here's some more of the. Now here we have the false rue anemone, right in here, with just 5 blossoms on most of these. 1, 2, 3. No, there's 6, forget that.
Cancel that. Cancel
Okay.
that.
Cancel out.
Maybe we'll find some false
Yeah.
before we're through.
This here's a mustard right here. A member of the cress family. It's garlic mustard. If you crush the plant and smell that, why you'll get the smell of onions.
Garlic and...
Yes, garlic. That's right. And it has the characteristic little seed pods of the mustards.
Yeah, that
And
kind
this
of
is
explode.
like your radishes and things of this sort. Here's another plant that I don't want to step on the. Look at this one. This is a smooth cress. It's called.
Oh.
This is also a mustard, and
That is beautiful.
and you can see the type seed pods that are on there. It's already bloomed some time ago, but that's smooth rock cress.
That would be beautiful in arrangements. You know?
It would.
That's
It's kind of
gorgeous
soft.
piece.
Now
I
here's,
see something up there we missed, Howard. Look,
Okay.
Solomon seal. Or
oh yeah,
false
here's Solomon seal.
Great.
Yeah.
Now that's usually an earlier plant too.
Yes, this one is not. It hasn't really bloomed though yet. This particular one. Now, the difference between Solomon seal and false Solomon seal. The false Solomon seal has a white bloom on the end of the plant, nothing under. The regular Solomon seal has the blooms down under at each one of the nodes, the leaf nodes. We'll have them there.
Do you know where it got its name? Why is it called Solomon seal? Do
Oh,
you know
gee,
that?
I wish I could answer that. Elsie.
Okay,
I may
we'll
have
look it
known,
up.
but I don't at
We'll
this
look it
point.
up. We'll look it up.
Okay.
Right.
Now here's another one, sweet Sicily, right here. Only this is smooth Sicily, not having the smell. There's another honeybee. It's going to prove me wrong. I hope there's probably
They know we're friendly.
yeah,
That's why they're
right,
around.
around. Now let's see. I did have another. Oh yes, here it is. A little hard to see. Here's more of that rock cress there. Right up here is purple waterleaf or appendaged waterleaf. It's a whole lot like the purple Basilia down here.
Right. I would just think they were the same thing in different colors, but there is differences in the leaf when you get
that's
close.
right. The differences are in the leaf, and here, for example, is going to be the giant waterleaf. Hasn't bloomed yet.
Oh.
Yeah, right. So I don't know. That about exhausts, I think, what we can see
Covered
some
most of it.
leaves. We've covered most everything in this location, although there are some things that were here that we aren't seeing now. For example, here was a bed of bloodroot. You see the big leaves here?
Get the mic on.
Yeah,
This-
just a minute. It's on a rock.
Okay.
Here we go.
This right here was a bed of bloodroot, which bloomed long, a month at least ago.
It's beautiful white flower.
Yes, a great
With the yellow.
white flower with a yellow center, ray flower.
And is that wild ginger over there next to it?
It's
There?
right.
Is there?
I'm missing it. It
Okay.
should be in there all right, but I'm not seeing it right off the bat. No, I think it.
Maybe in another spot.
yeah,
The leaves
okay.
look similar to me. I'm always
Right,
confusing those two. Okay, let's
Okay.
see what we can find over on Elkhorn Creek now.
Okay. Fine. Let me run across. Let me take a quick walk right down here where I have seen the wild geranium. It may be too late for that. All right.
This is holding true to most wildflower walks. We decided we were going to leave, and we finally found some false rue anemone, didn't
Yes, here it is, finally. This is false rue anemone here with 5 petals and leaves all the way up and down the stem instead of just at the top and the bottom. I finally found some.
Great.
Okay, here's a nice little plant, although we'll see how sure much better ones down at your place, Elsie. But here's the jack in the pulpit, you see, right here.
Raise the little flap up so
arum
we can
family,
see
and
it.
up comes the flap. Let's
Yeah.
get it with my finger then.
That's the
and
preacher.
there's the preacher, Jack.
Hey, wait a
in
minute. I'm going to have to back up a little bit.
the, okay, in order to get him.
Over
Okay.
the hill, probably.
Got him?
Okay, now.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Now these come in all colors from this deep wine, stripes, and finally to even green. But that's the jack in the pulpit there. Okay.
Such a colorful name.
Yes, right. Now while we're at it, we have a lot of wild ginger right here underfoot. Maybe we could come up with a wild ginger bloom. You had some right
Right
there.
here.
Go, Elsie.
Can you get, is this
They
too
may be
close,
too
Jim?
close, though. Let's see.
Can you see in here?
Back up. Well, okay. Is that it right there?
Yeah, this
Right there. See the little bloom? A lot of people never get to see the bloom on that plant.
Yeah, right here. The wild ginger right there. And this is the ginger leaf.
Got that?
Okay. Now
Okay,
while we're
great.
at it, let's look here at the most numerous trillium plant that we have in Franklin County. It's called Cecil Trillium, which means the bloom is right against the stem. And right here we have it. It's a trillium showing parts of threes. 3 leaves, 3 sepals, 3 petals,
Hey,
and so on.
now that's what
TRI Trillium. Yeah.
Okay, okay, fine.
Right. And we have another trillium, which we may have a chance to photograph in another location, but we don't have it here. It has a bloom that comes up and nods over. It's on a stem. It's called a nodding
No,
trillium.
I've read that one. I've read
Right.
that one in the Wildflower.
Okay. Let's see, Elsie, what else we have. I want to show this fern here, which is the most common fern in the county. On the floor here of this is past blooming already. There's lots of squirrel corn and Dutchman's britches. That's right. Yes. Now the fern itself right here is bulblet fern. It's all on these rock cliffs over here too, and it's the ones you find in the moist locations. I don't know whether these will have any bulb. Every once in a while you see a little knot under the leaf. They're not very advanced this time of the year, but that's how they propagate. Ferns do not have flowers. They propagate in other methods by vegetative propagations, they call it. So this little nodule forms on the leaf of the fern and drops off. That particular kind of fern.
Okay.
And that will be the way it
Well,
propagates.
let's move on around the cliff here and see what else we find.
Okay, we've got a few other things around here we ought to see at this location, I think. Okay, here's one that may get best look at this one here. You know the chickweed that you have in your yard? Well, here's the big relative of the chickweed that's a wildflower. This is called star chickweed or giant chickweed right there.
Pretty.
Right, it's a nice one. Now another one on the cliff here, already past its bloom, is early saxophrage. It also blooms.
That's the first thing out at our house.
Just about the first thing, yeah. It'll have a whitish bloom. It comes from a rosette, like right here, you see, and has a white bloom, and is gone at this point. Right. Now let's see. We have some violets over here. Maybe we ought to see. We won't go far.
On the hill here.
Yeah, right.
Right here it is.
Yes.
The white ones up there.
Okay. We have a couple of violets here. This is a pale or cream violet. There are 3 colors of violets that grow wild in the county. You have the blue or the purple ones, and the white ones, and the yellow ones. And right here we have, let me see which one we have. Here's some more giant chickweed. This is the hairy blue violet right here, which is not the blue violet that grows in your yard. It has a very hairy stem. I don't think you can pick it up very well, but it's not smooth at all.
I thought they were all the same, Howard. I'm learning.
No,
What's this? This is something we've not. Oh, that's a sweet William,
no,
right?
Yeah, that's the phlox,
The
which I
phlox.
don't think we've pointed out yet.
There
was
should
looking
be
for a
more
good
around.
one.
There
Yes.
should be more around.
I'm sure that I think where we just came from there was some good. Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, there's some. Good.
This is not a very big group, but yeah.
They normally grow in big clumps, don't they?
Yeah, right. That's a blue phlox right here. The earliest phlox.
And we usually call them sweet
Called
Williams.
Wild Sweet Williams, yeah. Right. Now right above us here, and completely past their bloom, is one of the best beds of hepatica in Franklin County. Right up on the area there's some from white all the way to deep blue. And early in the spring, hepatica, in March, late March and early April, that will begin to show up here. This hillside will be covered with it. Let's see, now while we're at it, let's also look at this plant right here, because we may not pick him up another place. Right here.
Oh, right. Watch, there's a whole Mr.
Yeah.
Groundhogs around here.
This is not a real great bloom, but most of them may have already passed. Try to move the little spice bush out of the way here. This is celandine poppy. And some people call it a buttercup, but it really is a poppy. It has yellowish juice, just as yellow as the
That's
the
one
plant
that
itself.
baffled us at our place
Yes.
for so long, because everyone kept insisting it was a buttercup, and I could tell by looking at it it was related to the
No.
poppy, but I couldn't find it in any of my wildflower
Yeah,
books.
it
But
is.
that makes me feel good.
That is a poppy. It sure is.
It's beautiful.
And this type of place will grow in leaf cover that's damp, lots of humus, and the leaves here, of course, have been falling for years and years and years.
But they tend to take over a place too, don't they?
Well, there'll
Spread
be lots.
rather easily?
Yeah, they do. Yes. But they really aren't that they don't crowd out much of anything either. It's just a very shady spot. Here it's been probably yellow dogtooth violet, but long since gone. There's both dogtooth violets are in here, white and yellow.
Look at that,
Let's see.
those blue-eyed Marys.
Yeah,
Isn't that incredible?
It's a pretty bed of them there. All
Goes
right.
all the way up that hollow, Jim.
The hillside is full of them. Well, okay, I tell you what. Let's cross back over and go above the dumpster there, and look at 2 or 3 things on that bank, and then we'll be through in this area here.
Okay, fine.
Okay. I didn't find the wild geraniums down there.
You didn't? That's too bad.
They may have already bloomed and gone. I didn't come up with them at all.
I think it's really unusual that I'd never seen that blue-eyed Mary, and there's that whole field of them there that I drive by all the time.
It really is not as common as you might think looking at this place here. I don't know. Maybe one or 2 places that they use it at all. Except here. And it's just kind of be up that way. It covers the whole hollow. Okay.
Now, what do we have here on this
All right,
bank, Howard?
Right here, we have something we hadn't seen before. Right here, this is the wild hyacinth. Right here, this one
The
here.
pale.
The
blue.
pale, yes, pale blue right there. And beside it is another Solomon seal, only this one is giant Solomon seal.
Oh.
Notice that it has several little blooms
Right,
under
and the
each one,
stem's not
rather
as
than
delicate.
2.
Right.
The regular Solomon seal has 2. This one has several, and it's going to be the giant Solomon seal there.
Oh, that's
Oh,
two
okay,
for me.
now here's something that looks an awful lot like a farmer's white top in his field. This is Philadelphia fleabane. Right here, it is another composite here. Very pretty little fellow there.
Pink.
Uh-huh.
But it does look like.
Yeah, it looks like white top, doesn't it?
Right.
Well, it's the same family, but it's a wildflower. Or
Does
grows
it
in those
repel
locations.
fleas?
What's
With a
that?
name like that, it should repel fleas.
I
if
really
it's a
don't
vein
know.
of fleas.
It sounds like it would, though, doesn't it? Let's see what else. Of course, we have still a lot of we saw a while ago, the roundleaf ragwort. There's a whirl of it on this bank here. It's a sunny, rather dry location. We should have some of the, of course, here's the blue phlox again. We should have some of the white, white dwarf larkspur.
Over
I see
here.
some on the, yeah, here's some here.
Over on the side. Before we go, Howard, what's the seed pods up there that are so prominent? Can you see right in front where I'm pointing? The green seed
Oh
pods?
yeah, right. Those, that's Greek valerian. It's an earlier wildflower too. There are 2 like it.
Little green balls left for
Yeah,
seeds.
you can see one flower up at the top that tells you, what it's been like right there.
Okay.
This
okay.
one right here, and it was just a whole clump of that. There's Greek valerian and Jacob's ladder. Both are very much alike. Jacob's ladder has the the stamens protruding, and this one stays within the petal.
Okay, now let's get the white larkspur.
Okay, the white larkspur, if you can get it. Wait, here's one closer.
Oh, isn't that it? We step on it.
Yeah, here we go. Here's the white larkspur, the white variety there, and right behind it the purple dwarf larkspur. There's a big white one there, and lots of things.
That's pretty common around
Yes,
in this
it is.
area.
It is. Okay, I think that about exhausts it here.
It's just really beautiful, though. Hey, you get down and dig, you don't know what you have, do you?
Well, we found about 350 species of wildflowers in the county, counting it from beginning of the season until frost. So actually, we
300.
There are them here. I suppose we'll get at least 400 before it's over.
Hey, great.
We should, We haven't investigated the swamps and places like that as we should best.
Oh, that's
I
incredible.
don't think I see any more. Okay.
Jim, you better get out of the highway. Well, Howard, we're in a different place altogether now. This along Elkhorn Creek, along the cliffs here, and this is the back of Shagbark Farm. Our cameras have been out here before because we've done several shows out here. But we've got something here that's a little rare in wildflowers.
There aren't many beds of shooting star that I know of in Franklin County. I'm sure there are several around, but they'll be found in locations like this, always below a rather considerable limestone cliff facing south, and yet where it can be damp too, and it's not real dry. It's pretty specific. This particular, we're a little past the bloom here, as you can see.
Yeah, they're beginning to, some blossoms are beginning to drop
some
off.
of them are blooming still real well, and as you can see, they're real clumpy sorts of
Yeah, we need
flower,
to point
so
out the foliage
the
because
foliage
the spike is so far above
Yes,
the flower spike is.
right.
Very common looking when it comes up with the spring.
Looks like lettuce or something.
But it makes a beautiful
Makes-
display when they're all
It certainly
blooming.
does. Really pretty. Nice flowers.
Now, I've heard people talk about Star of Bethlehem. Is that a different flower from this, or is that another common name for this one?
No, Star of Bethlehem is sort of a lawn plant.
Okay.
It grows some little bulbs, and it's white also, but it's very common and just spreads all over the place, and will be found in people's lawns, really, more than any place else.
That's something. So many times, wildflower enthusiasts have difficulty communicating if they come from different areas of the state because there's different names.
Yeah, that's right.
For the
that's
different
right.
plants.
For different kinds
But,
of plants, yes.
This, I've always heard it called shooting star. Do you know any other name?
No, I really don't.
So this is one we all get together on.
That's right. That's right.
Show them this.
This right here is of course not blooming far, but it's jewel weed. We'll have a little yellow or orange with orange spots for bloom later on, pale or spotted jewel weed. It's a plant that's found in very damp, moist locations, and incidentally, the juice from this plant will help poison ivy.
Yeah, my grandmother, an old herb doctor, taught me that many years ago.
Just rub that on there and
just break
stop
the
the
plant
itching.
and rub it on. And it feels good too. It's soothing to it. I think
Yes.
that's where a lot of the healing properties come from. It makes you
Right.
feel better whether it does anything or not.
Sure.
But,
Now you find lots of different kinds of plants. Here, for example, is one that's just blooming all over the place, but it's in fields and lawns and things. This is purple dead nettle, right here.
Purple
Dead nettle.
nettle.
And there's another one like it that's called henbit.
Well, now that's what I was going to say. We've always
All right.
called that
I'll show you the
henbit.
difference between this
Okay.
and henbit. We can take this off. Let's just do this. Purple dead nettle has stems to its leaves.
Oh,
henbit
okay.
runs right up against the stem.
The leaves are joined at the stem
That's
as
right.
opposed to a
Henbit
branch.
will be like this,
Okay. Okay.
rather than with stem. So that's the difference. And they're mints. That's another thing interesting. We can break this weed down. You know, the stem is square.
Square belongs to the mint family.
Belongs to the
then?
mint family, right? Although this doesn't smell like a mint or anything.
No, as I remember, it doesn't smell good at all.
No, not particularly.
That likes to grow in the strawberry
Yes, it
patch
is. It's
where we
it's-
try to keep it out.
It's a weed. That's right. Okay, and we have, of course, Solomon's seal again, all down in the bed there, and purple Basilia growing up there in some very dry locations.
Right there by the cave in.
Right.
Okay.
We need to get some of your big, the big Jack in the
Jack in the
Pulpits,
Pulpit,
the
yeah,
big
okay,
green ones
good.
back down the cliff here. This is a nice spot, though. Some real imposing cliffs here.
Yes, the only thing we regret about them is they kind of impaired our use of this part. It takes so much energy to get down here, you have to sit down and rest a while after you
Exactly.
do all the climbing.
Okay. You know,
Walk with me.
where Elsie, I'm failing to find wild Columbine. I know we
It's
got lots
not that plentiful along here. It's amazing. But there are a few plants that I see from time to time, but I only see them when they're blooming.
Yeah, okay. I'm
But,
trying to pick up on. They ought to be on these shelves. You know.
Yes, over on Sullivan's Lane, the
Yeah.
property we owned over there,
Yeah.
back of the Porter True place.
Yeah.
Just had it all over it, and that's the first thing I looked for when I came here, but I have not seen that much of it.
It's a little drier plant, and here you have a fairly moist situation. There must be some kind of drainage from the top over here to make this as wet as it is. That's what I was going to try to help prevent if
Okay.
I could.
I think I got it now.
Okay.
Rose, watch. Howard, what's this?
That's also your darn it.
Stop checking in.
Your early spiderwort.
Spiderwort,
This
oh.
is another spiderwort.
Oh, okay.
That's probably
okay.
zigzag.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's got weird leaf formation on it.
Yeah, well, it's a spiderwort.
I've never seen that blooming though here.
Yeah, it will bloom, but much later in the year. It's not
Okay. Okay. What rose?
I guess we got some spider wolf coaches in the trail, haven't we? That's
Yeah,
the beauty
right.
there. Okay. Elsie, what do you propose to do now, huh? You want
The Jack in the Pulpit, is it?
right here?
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Did you get that on tape?
No, I didn't. I just got the noise.
you want to get the spider wart and move over here and get this Jack in the Pulpit? to
Okay,
spell it?
that'll be great.
Yeah,
Right,
here's a good
right
one.
here's a good one, right here at the base of this tree.
Let's get the
Can you get down here close enough?
Yeah,
Jim?
I get it. Which one you going for?
The purple,
guess that was
early
already-
spider.
Okay. I got it.
Okay.
Now, this is a very conspicuous plant when it blooms, but when it's not blooming, you'll walk right over it.
I know. I think it's pretty. I know I've seen it in people's yards. They've dug it up and put it there too. It's so decorative. That's early spiderwort. We have 2 or 3 others, and this is the early blooming one. And it's of course no more than a foot high at any time. We have some others along here too, but that one is a real,
You know, we're
real
talking
attractive
about
plant.
digging up wildflowers and transplanting them in the yard. That's something we should point out. So many people do this, and they don't realize that it's a very tricky operation to get wildflowers to grow in anything other than their natural
There,
habitat.
that's right.
I only know of one book that would be of any help. It's called Pioneering the Wildflowers. Do you know any others about?
no,
And
I
it
don't.
because so many times people will dig up a plant when it's blooming that only propagates by seed, bring it home, you know, it's always wilted, already wilted when they get there, and nothing will happen.
Exactly.
That
and-
might work with a plant that comes from a bulb, but
Yeah.
the main thing is, my advice would be don't transplant them unless you really know what you're doing.
That's exactly right.
And you know
because
that you're not going to endanger
you have
a bed or
some
something.
tough conditions to duplicate, and they may even live for a year or two. But I know of very few that are really successful as far as being able to be like where they came from. There are a few that are pretty tolerant, but most of them will not change locations.
My father-in-law is really into wildflowers, and he said if wildflowers are going to be there, they'll be there naturally.
That's right. That's
I said, we got a decent Jack in the Pulpit around here.
Yeah,
Oh,
we've
yeah.
got, here's a great big pale green one here.
Now, the last one we shot down on Rocky Branch was deep purple.
Was
so
purple on there, and you see the spadix, the Jack in the Pulpit there. That will be a series of berries, red berries, later on in the year.
Now, this is a bulb. It grows from a bulb, doesn't it?
Yes.
A big, heavy root.
Yes.
Sorry.
This hillside has got more of Jack of the Pulpits. And there they are, see, all over here, and all down below us there. The hill's just full of them. Some of the biggest that I've ever seen are on this particular hillside.
And they're not very common anymore, are they?
No, you, except for certain locations, you just don't see that many, really. I used to think it was pretty unusual to find one. Okay,
What do you see as the major danger to wildflowers now? Here in this area.
habitat destruction.
This,
You know, just being careless about these things. Okay, now here's false Solomon seal.
Oh yeah, we saw the true, didn't we?
Saw the true with the flowers hanging underneath, and now we see the false Solomon seal with the flower plump at the end of the stalk.
Now this is bloomed and it will be purple berries, won't it?
Yes.
About the size of like a fox grape, a small
Yeah,
grape.
that's right. Later on it will be. They have leaves that are very much alike. I think these are a little, probably a little more paper-like. Not quite as succulent as the other plant.
Well, this is growing in shade here
Yeah.
too, where it doesn't develop as much.
Right. Okay. Lots of plants that are already quit blooming here. That's cutleaf toothwort. It's about a month old and right in there.
Yeah,
Already has bloomed.
flowers already gone.
Already gone. And this
Crow's
thankful-
foot's a good name for that too.
Yeah.
That's what I know it by
Yeah.
because of the shape
Or
of the leaves looks like a crow's
Pepper
foot.
or pepper root.
Pepper root's
Pepper
another
root's
name.
another
That's
name
good.
for it.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Let's see. Do we have
Well, I think that's about, yeah, we can go down here. I think that's about the bulk of the flowers on this side. There's probably some more on down this way.
Okay. Want some more? Some help carrying your pack?
This is not as...
No, I'm doing all right.
Get down here, Jim, we'll let you rest.
Really?
Yes, you have our permission, Jim. Something going down here, but I was hoping we'd run into those. We've got some great big clumps of mint that is the most fragrant.
Really?
Oh, it's just delicious, but I don't see any there. What's this little stuff coming out?
I don't recognize it.
It's pretty.
It's not blooming, but this is for Papa. Yours is blooming too. Look at here.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
isn't it
good,
pretty?
good.
Right.
A lot of people haven't seen this.
No, my mother was reared in the mountains of Kentucky, and she went to pick pawpaws, but she'd never seen the bloom
Never
until
really.
just recently.
You know, this is the one that's got a lot of popularity as far as propagating it and everything recently. This is pollinated by green flies, you know.
This is something I didn't understand, but the blossoms smell like Karen.
Yeah, yes,
And
a
it
little, it's a
attracts
little
green
dead.
flies.
It attracts green flies, and so you know, if you want to be sure that you get pollination, you hang a little something dead around there and attract the green flies
I read
too.
that in a magazine recently, and I couldn't believe it. They said hang a dead groundhog or whatever you could come up with in the tree to get the green flies there. They're a nice substitute for bananas.
Yes,
the
they
fruit.
are. I wish they were a little more fleshy. We have a fellow here in Frankfurt, John Estel, who has some of the biggest and heaviest ones I've ever seen. They are
They're
almost
doing
like bananas.
a lot of studies in improving the strains of pawpaws and persimmons for food plants that I've been reading about.
Yes.
And,
More food starches.
well, they go all the way up the top. There's some up on top of the cliff too. There should be Columbine around here by all standards, but
I know there's some back up there for the fish here.
yes, there's been some along the edge of the road there too.
How far are you going to get to the flag?
It's quite a ways on down.
You may want to help. Okay, Elsie.
We found it, didn't we,
Yeah,
Howard?
we found it after
A
looking.
lot of work, but
The,
the Columbine.
the Columbine, which will grow on dry, cliffy areas. And I won't know why there aren't just dozens more plants, but that's a most unusual bloom there with all the points to it.
Well,
This
one
sort-
thing, you know, this cliff comes out more. The cliffs we were looking at before tended to go in at an
Yeah.
angle toward the
Kinda
ground.
dropped under, yes.
It was an overhang more.
Yeah. Mhm.
That may be the reason it's here. There may be some more sunlight here, but it's a beautiful plant. I love the leaves as much as I do the blossom on the Columbine. They're such pretty leaves.
And several other things around here keeping it company. It's a nice cliffy area.
We're going to plan next spring
Early.
to get out early. We
Okay.
said we were going to do it this year, so and maybe later on this summer. There'll be some more coming on.
Oh, there's some real nice summer and fall wildflowers. You know, most people quit looking after spring.
Yes,
know,
that's
I mean,
been my
everybody-
problem.
Everybody thinks the bloodroot and the anemones and the dogtooth violets and things are, you know, they're the wildflowers. But there's some real nice ones all through the year.
And we're so fortunate here in Franklin County to have so many areas
We have some nice
Where
wild
we-
areas. And
where we can walk. And one thing we should remind people too is if you want to go see wildflowers, don't just go buzzing into somebody's farm or onto
Exactly.
someone's property. Works the same way as hunting. If you'll go to the house and ask, and particularly if you explain you want to see the wildflowers, many times they'll be very helpful and go out with you and say, oh, well, we know where they all are,
Sure.
that sort of thing. So ask permission if you want to go walking looking at wildflowers, and don't dig them up and try to take them home with you, and don't pick them because they won't last till you get home.
That's right. They'll be wilted. You won't know what you have and serves no
There's all the
purpose.
don'ts. The
That's all
do's
the
are
don'ts.
enjoy, enjoy. Huh?
Exactly. Yes.
Thank you,
Right.
Howard, for coming down here. You've worked today.
I enjoyed it.
Well, what we got to do here? Go up this.
Yes,
Yeah, that's a good one here. Can we? Oh, you want to take a look at the straight up and down?
Yes, I'm getting a picture of where I'm going to go with this
Yes.
camera.